Homies, I tried past life regression. Have you ever found yourself struggling to move on from a relationship or job or really any situation for that matter that was bringing you down? Trust me, I've been right there in the trenches with you, boo. But I learned about this tool that is set to help with letting things go. So I'll share my own past life regression experience with you with actual footage so you can see what it's like. I hope it inspires you to embark on your own journey of healing. So stay tuned after the beat drops to learn more about past life regression and this very interesting and mystical tool. It's just like you, I, Ebby Mercury, have experienced the turmoil and pain that comes with ending a relationship. Then something dope happened. I was introduced to past life regression, a profound tool that has helped me with healing and moving forward in my life. My experience with past life regression was so powerful that it inspired me to become a hypnosis practitioner. It was that serious, y'all. And I wanted to become a hypnosis practitioner so that I could share this healing technique with the world. So what led me to past life regression? Well, this is low-key embarrassing, but really not. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. If we go back in time a little bit, it started with the breakup. Your girl was down bad. I was in shambles. But this particular breakup was different. So in between me oscillating between despair and rage, I had some time to reflect. Started to see that this was part of a larger pattern that I was experiencing, and I had succumbed to it yet again. Anytime I went through a breakup, I would fall completely apart. And it didn't matter if I was the one doing the breaking up or the one being broken up with. And to be honest, most of the times it was me doing the breaking up, but I would still be jacked up after the relationship was over. I just didn't do well with breakup. In my heart of hearts and mind of minds, I knew that this person and I were not meant to be together, but I would still be shaken and upset by the experience and feel this great sense of abandonment and loss at the ending of the situation. To be honest, that feeling of loss would be out of proportion to the experience of the relationship itself. Like, girl, you ain't really losing nothing, and they not either, but it just feels like so much of me is just gone. And I wanted to understand that feeling and experience and why that kept happening, even in these situations where it just wasn't a good fit for either person in the relationship. It just so happened that at the time that this particular relationship was unraveling, I was revisiting Jan Spiller's book called Astrology for the Soul, which is about the North Node, or the nodes in general in astrology. She mentioned in the Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node section that these people tend to have trouble letting go of things, and past life regression might benefit them. Just so happens that I have Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node. If you have one, then you have the other because they are opposite signs, and that's how the nodes work. But in addition to having a Scorpio South Node, I also have several other planets in Scorpio. So I definitely feel that whole emotional letting go emphasis. It feels as though the difficulty with releasing things becomes amplified. But again, Jan noted that people who have the Taurus North Node should consider past life regression. Admittedly, I was desperate to break this pattern, so I was like, okay, past life regression sounds a little wild, but I have to go on and do it. Because I gotta learn how to keep it pushing and not get so caught up in these situations that aren't even for me. Oh, I did some web research on past life regression, watched tons of YouTube videos, well, all the ones that were out there, just like you're doing now, because I wanted to understand what it all meant. Mind you, I hadn't even done hypnosis at all, so everything within that realm was completely new to me, and all I knew about hypnosis was like stage hypnosis that I would see on TV or on cruise ships. So this was very different. So I was a little nervous about how the experience would go. I'm just a little bit adventurous. I'm adventurous enough, so I was willing to try it. I found this lady in my city, and I saw that she had a past life regression package. And while the price felt a little steep, I was like, I really want to let this go. I'm gonna have to just pay the cost to be the boss. So I made the appointment. But before I dive too deep into what my experience was like, let me just back up and explain what past life regression is. Past Life Regression is a guided hypnosis session aimed at accessing memories from past lives. Purpose is often healing, to gain insights and perspective. Some of the benefits include gaining healing of patterns, phobias, or traumas carried over from past lives. You can uncover karmic or soul lessons that impact your current life. You can expand your perceptions outside of linear time. And you can feel empowered just knowing that you've lived many lives before. Look at you, girl. Out here living multiple lifetimes. Go ahead now. I actually had 2 appointments for my past life regression experience. The first one felt more like traditional talk therapy. That's about my upbringing, my childhood, what life had been like to date, and more recently, what brought me to this desire to have the past life regression experience. And even that part was really helpful, just to talk about what I had been experiencing at that time, all of the uncertainty and confusion and all of the feelings that I was feeling. Even that was just nice to have someone to share with on that situation, because I did happen to feel very alone at that time. So after talking more about my situation and also my past as well, we did a hypnosis trance together where she put me into a state of trance just to see how it would go, because again, it was my first time doing hypnosis, so it wasn't clear necessarily what the experience would be like for me, because everybody experiences hypnosis differently. For me, it was a relatively easy shift into it. I found it to be super relaxing. It felt very trippy as well, like I was sort of in a dream state, but I was definitely awake because I was able to talk to her during the experience. I also felt completely safe and just comfortable. So after that, she gave me a homework assignment to do between that session and the next session, and she also gave me a recording to listen to each day, just so that I was getting these repeated messages in the hypnotic state when I was very relaxed. To be honest, that was awesome too, because I had been having some trouble sleeping, so listening to the recording to help me get to sleep was really useful, and I was sleeping better than I had been in a while. So I went back for the second appointment. We went over my homework assignment, and then we went into a state of trance once again. This was the real deal this time though. Once I was guided back to my past life through the process that she was following, I could see in my mind's eye, I could see my body from my past life. I could see my surroundings.
What's the first thing you see?
I see trees. And it looks like I'm in a forest or jungle or something.
Describe the trees to me.
They're tall and very lush, leaves, very green.
Look at your feet. Are you able to see your feet?
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing on your feet?
I think I'm wearing sandals.
What color are your sandals?
Brown. And it was weird because I'm like, whoa, I'm not a woman anymore. I'm a dude with chiseled abs. And my skin was still brown, but it was like a different shade or hue. But like I could tell by my surroundings and my body, and just kind of sort of seeing myself from different angles, that I looked like a Native American man. But it was cool to have a six-pack because I haven't experienced that in this present lifetime yet.
Does your body feel male or female?
Male.
Are you young or are you old?
Older.
Does your body feel healthy?
Feel kind of tired.
Tired. Go inside of the place where you live. Anyone else live here with you?
I think so. I think there's a woman who lives here too.
How do you know?
I guess I kind of see her, but it's like she's not actually there.
What do you do the majority of your time here?
Spend my time hunting.
hunting. Yourself doing that. Are you a good hunter? Is this something you enjoy doing and do well?
I enjoy it sometimes. I do it to make sure my family can eat.
And tell me about your family.
I have a wife.
It is weird because it was like I just knew that that was my wife. Nobody said anything or told me anything. It was just like, oh yeah, that's my wife.
She stays there with you in the hut.
Mm-hmm.
Describe her to me.
She's small. She has long dark hair. Yeah. She kind of, she's kind of like Mexican, I guess. Like indigenous Mexican. She's not smiling or anything. She's kind of quiet. Almost seems like she's scared.
She had this somber expression on her face, and I could just tell that we didn't have a close relationship. She was kind of like, oh, you home again. She didn't greet me when I entered the home. She just was there, and I was just there, and it was like we were resentful roommates. So then we fast forwarded to an important date in my life.
We'll leave that scene and move forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see? Are you indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Are you alone or are you with others?
I'm with other people.
Who are these other people you're with?
I guess our family or community members.
Is it a large group of people or a small group of people?
It's kind of a large group.
And what is happening here?
I think there's some sort of celebration or ceremony or something.
What are the people doing?
I just see them there. I just see them gathered there. It's a wedding.
Okay, we don't have to figure it out. Not right now. Are they looking at something? Are they reading something? What is each person doing?
They're looking, they're focused at the front of the, kind of the front of the group. So I'm in the middle, but also at the front. So they're seeing what's going on with me. And
Are you able to see what's going on?
I think there's a baby. So it's like some type of ceremony for the baby, I think.
There was a baby carriage there, and I'm standing up at the front with the baby carriage. And it's like I'm looking off into the distance at all these people, and I'm looking for my wife, and she's not there. And the people are like, it's a celebration of some sort, but also very solemn at the same time, because I'm dressed up in a suit. I have like almost like a bowler hat on, some type of hat, and I'm there with this carriage.
I mean, I think it's a thing to celebrate the baby or something. But I don't see the mother.
My wife never showed up to the event, and I think she had passed away at this point, so there was like a sense of longing for her to be there, and I just felt alone.
Let's leave that scene and move forward to an important day. What is happening?
I'm at a gathering at a table. There's some family there.
I looked like I was about 80 years old. I had these long gray plaits on either side of my head. I was wearing a flannel shirt with a bolo tie, and I was seated at the head of the table, and there were family members surrounding the table. And I think it was maybe my birthday party or something, because it was a celebration, but it also could have been Thanksgiving. It wasn't super clear. But again, I'm at the head of the table surrounded by family, my children, their children, and they're all happy to see me. And I'm experiencing the moment as happy, but also feeling that sense of loss because, again, my wife isn't there.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
3.
Is your wife still with you?
No.
Has your wife passed on, or has she just left and not been a part of the picture?
She died.
So the people there at your birthday dinner, are they family or friends?
Family. My grandchildren are there.
Are you in the same home?
I don't know if it's my house though. The table on that doesn't feel like my house. I think my children brought me here. But whenever I come to family gatherings, I get sad because my wife isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I should have been proud that I had raised these children in this family, but at the end of the day, I felt guilty, ashamed, sad, and alone.
That first gathering that you went to, was that one of the first ones when she wasn't there?
I think so. I think she might have died after she had the baby or something.
So, what did all of this mean? To me, it seemed like I was really hung up on the loss of my wife, whom I had treated poorly when she was alive. When she died, she left me with 3 kids. Maybe I deserved it, I don't know, but I did carry those heavy loss and abandonment feelings from that life into this one. The hypnotherapist asked the past life version of me if he had any advice for the present life me. And he said, don't repress your feelings. You have to let them out. He said that I have to learn how to feel my emotions because by not honoring them, it's making it harder for me to connect with other people. He said that I'm also shrouded in sadness because I don't give my body the opportunity to let the sadness out in the form of tears. So you can see in the footage that I was crying during the experience, and honestly, for several days after that, I cried a lot, literally for days and days and days, probably like maybe even weeks, just off and on crying in the car, in the shower, in the bedroom, like wherever I was at, tears were flowing. It just felt like something had been released in me, and all the emotion that I had been holding in for the past decades were all coming out at once. But I started to feel better once they were moving out. And honestly, I still had some tearful stuff happening every now and then over the next maybe couple of months. But afterwards, I haven't felt that same weight that I've experienced for a lot of my life. And I also had some knee pain that went away after that experience too. So that was interesting. I also made amends to my wife from a previous life and made a commitment to treating my family and friends and other people around me better and trying to see them and honor them for who they are. So what has life been like since this experience? I'm way more in tune with my emotions now, and I don't mind letting myself cry. I go hard in Shavasana and yoga. That is my time to release if I need to. I'm a much warmer person than I was back then. I still have kind of a serious energy, but I think I'm more lighthearted than I was for sure. I've only been through 1 breakup since that experience, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. It needed to end for sure, and having had this experience, I was just much more able to let go and not focus on that specific chapter of my life, but more on the bigger picture and where I'm going in life versus, what I was leaving behind. And to be honest, I was a little nervous about it given how my history had gone. And my friends were too. I have a homeboy who's like, girl, you don't do well with breakups. But this time he was like, you've done pretty well. You seem to be doing well and moving on. I'm happy for you. Honestly, I've been able to just have some fun. I've spent so much time with friends and just having a good time. Even times that I spend by myself have been way more enjoyable this time around too. This is footage of me thriving after a breakup since having had past life regression. In general, I acknowledge my feelings more regularly now. I allow myself to cry when I'm sad. And to be honest, that's a radical act in and of itself in a culture where you're taught to never let them see you cry, or I'll give you something to cry about. That kind of energy. It can be hard to move beyond that conditioning, so I'm proud of myself for having done that. I would say that newfound emotional authenticity has been one of the greatest gifts that I've learned from past life regression, and that was a direct learning from the past life self who spoke that into me. I've learned to be kind to my suffering. As a result, the indirect benefit of that is that I do better with endings in general and am able to just live in the moment a little bit more. Through past life regression, I discovered the power to heal, find closure, and create a brighter future. Exploring our past lives, we gain insight into ourselves and are able to learn to break free from patterns of behavior that we are experiencing. Past life regression is a profound tool for releasing emotional baggage and embracing the present. Remember, healing takes time, but if you work toward it, it will surely be yours. Look, I know the emotional struggles you may be facing. You are not alone. I invite you to consider the profound benefits of past life regression for your own situation. It's a journey that requires openness, courage, a willingness to go deep, and maybe a little bit of guap. But it's worth it if you can get to that place of peace and ease in these situations where you're having so much emotional turmoil with letting go that it keeps you from really honoring your true purpose in life because you're so stuck. If you want to travel to the past and leave the bullshit where it belongs, hit me up at homegirlastrology.com/hypnosis to book a session with me. You can book the Homecoming Past Life Regression package, and we'll meet up a couple of times to go through very similar experience to what I just mentioned today. You have the power to heal and create the life you deserve, and we can do this virtually. I'd love to support you on your journey, so quit playing, hit me up. And maybe this is the elephant in the room, I don't know, but since this is a video that talks about letting go, yes, I did let go of my locks, and I'm a bad baldy these days. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Again, feel free to hit me up for a session. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment below if you're curious about past life regression or if you've had your own experiences with it. I'd love to hear about it. Also, please feel free to share this video with others who may be interested. Thank you so much for being here. Peace, homies.